Good morning, everybody. Hope you are doing well. We are back today. Today is Tuesday, January 6th. You can see right down here. Look down here. Tuesday, January 6th, 2026. And today, I want to take your attention to this daily wick, first of all, because we have stabbed back up into there. We're still inside this daily wick, which I do still like. We're staying below the midpoint right here. I'll try to mark it for you. I'm going to delete this one for now. I'll just use this one. So, we drop down to the 4 hour. I have this marked out because this is a breaker. We have a high, we have a low, and then we have a higher high that takes liquidity. So this candle right here, this lowest down body, which is why I like it, is the bearish breaker. And as we can see, price utilizes it. It closes above it, but does that mean we completely abandon it? And my model and strategy, no. I cut through candles. I keep using them. They never, PDA rates to me, they never really go stale. And, you can use them over and over and over again, which is why if we go to this chart, you can clearly see I still have this inversion fair value gap from the hourly because it's still using it. Look how much it's using it. It's used it overnight. It used it yesterday, and it's using it now. So if there's one thing that I can, advise is that if you are using smart money concept, if you are using ICTs, PD arrays, don't give up on them if, they fail, like if they get like this, if it closes above it just like this. Now, would this to me have made me feel like, we're reversing and bullish? Not really. It just means it's reaching up into a deeper premium, in my opinion. Plus, we have this wick right here, so it was probably just digging deeper into this wick. Let me see. So the 4 hour, my bias today, by the way, is still I'm still bearish, and I'll go through it today. But we're inside the first, we're not first, we're inside a macro right now, 850 to 910 pre-market macro. I like, so we have a range right now also. Go to the 5 minute. Here's the range, and we just broke the range. So we just swept the range low from pre-market session right there. You can see that right there. And here's the high. And here is equilibrium of that. So I have that marked out just in case. I like this fair value gap right here because we have it in the premium area of price. So it could possibly come back up here, accumulate, and then distribute lower, which is what I would like to see. Or not what I would like to see, but something of that degree. I want to see some type of manipulation. I want to see some type of accumulation. I want to see some type of distribution. And so when 9:30 bell opens up, if it trades up into this inverse fair value gap, I'm going to study that. And I have it marked out right here on this chart. There you go. So we'll study it. I also have this 5 minute fair value gap right there because, there, look at that. I also have this breaker right here. That's beautiful. It's a little small, so if you wanted to use this candle, I don't think that would be necessarily bad, but this is why I have this inefficiency, because this is where, the bulk of, the draw was. Okay, so we have the midpoint of this daily wick. We also have this inversion fair value gap with the volume imbalance. Does that incorporate that? And we also have opening range. Here is where we settled at 414. Here's where we're trading now. Why I am bearish is because look what happened. Overnight, and I am hesitant to show this because this is like a cheat code to me. And if I don't get a setup that leads me or that, is directionally towards this area right here, because look at that. This is the midpoint of yesterday's opening range gap. Don't throw your opening range gaps away, folks. So this happened on Monday at 8:20. So this was even before we opened up on regular trading hours. So actually, let me cancel this out. So regular trading hours, you can't see any of the price action that I just had on there because from 4:14 to 9:30, stock market is closed technically. So we have to look at the markets, from a uh, open and close perspective. Really open and close perspective. So if you're not, you know, uh, um, looking at electric trading hours and regular trading hours, then you're holding yourself back. But anyways, this is why I like this draw lower. Because we have the midpoint of this opening range gap. Oh, I was going to show you yesterday we couldn't even hit the midpoint of it. And I told you 70% of the time it gets hit. So hasn't even taken out this low yet. That was the low of yesterday, right? Right here. Oh, it's the low of today, sorry. Oh, no, because we haven't, well, technically, yeah, but it's because we're up on the higher time frame chart. Anyways, we're going to have this gap. And look, like I said, we haven't even touched the midpoint of this yet. So that's where my draw is initially. And then obviously I would like to see it continue lower, but that is my first uh, stop, if you want to call it. So retracing back up, looks like we're going to get back up into that 5-minute inversion fair value gap. I want to see how it behaves in there. In my opinion, I want to see it take some type of liquidity as well. So, I mean, we do have the range, like I said, from 7 o'clock to 9 o'clock. We did sweep it here, and now we're up into the premium side of it. So we also have the 8:30 opening price, which is right here to come up into. Here's the midnight opening price. So we have, have a lot of already. I have a lot of confluences that are telling me this thing is wanting to gravitate lower. And do I automatically go in and sell it though? No. So into the inversion for a value gap, half of the daily wick. Let's go to the 1 minute. Okay. Let's just study that for right now. I have to go and do something real quick, so give me a second. So this is a good reaction. And now we are less than 30 minutes away from market open. Hmm. So I made a mistake yesterday, and I caught it in the video when I was watching it, but I had already posted it to YouTube. So I was talking about the opening range gap, and I was talking about the closing price at 414, not 459. Closing price at 4:59 and the opening price at 6 p.m. are two totally different things. I'll explain that today because I didn't, and that is what this gray box is. So the closing price at 4:59, and where we open up at 6 a.m. 6 p.m. Excuse me, right here. This is what is labeled as the new day opening gap. And new day opening gaps are also a powerful draw on price throughout the current day. Uh, Days, forward. I don't know how long. I would say, maybe 5 days, a whole trading week. You should have opening range gaps on your charts. So, okay. So we got some good movement early this morning. Um, so I like to see that. Better than yesterday, right? Oh, yeah. So let's talk about yesterday. So y'all know I did take a trade yesterday. I did post it. And it was using the logic that I had explained as far as when comes to why my bias was what it was. And it was during the lunch hour, I believe. And I just caught a small little retracement. If you haven't seen it on my page, you can go check it out. It's just like labeled market or live trade 1/5/2026 or whatever. It's not short. Let me put it this way. Uh, it's a bit lengthy, folks, but it'll if you watch it and study it, you'll get a feel of what price action looks like when, you're on the right side. So I like that reaction out of the inverse fair value gap on 5 minute. We did come back up into a premium of the range that we made from 7 o'clock. Let's see, let's see, let's see. $15 minutes. Why is that like that? That doesn't look right. I fixed that yesterday. Just didn't refresh, I guess. So it just left the premium side of things. Now we're gravitating lower again. Let's see here. Inside first presented fair value gap from one day. I don't know which day. But yeah, we don't have any news today. Well, technically we do. Trump speaks at 2, but we're not worried, concerned. So we're just gonna wait. We're just gonna be patient and wait for 9:30. Because a lot of people probably are thinking the same thing as me right now, and they want to get in, and I don't want to give them any opportunity to take me out. And that's what the opening range is a lot of times used for. So rather than, and if it goes to my targets without, me getting in, so what? So freaking what, folks? Because first of all, it should reassure you that you're doing something right, which is a good thing. You shouldn't be mad. You should not be mad if your idea was correct. That's more than a lot of people can figure out in a lifetime of the directional bias of where price is drawing towards. So be be content with the small little wins. Excuse me again. So let me see here. Got a shallow run here. Um, I, you know, I see the damage that has been done to the upside already. So for me, it doesn't need to do anything else as far as retracing. So we could just see this thing fall out of bed right at market open, which is fine. Um, so if it does, don't try to anticipate it too much. Let it come to you. And if it doesn't, if the setup doesn't come to you, if you don't get it, then just relax, chill out. You see these have this 15-minute imbalance right here. Trades all the way up to it, completely closes it in, and now it is sending it lower. You know what I'm going to do actually? I want to do this. 15 minutes. I want to do this. What's going on here? There it is. So there's your 15-minute imbalance. I want to see if we can get back up to that midpoint. We're hovering around it right now. Yeah. Right here. Okay. Midpoint of the weekly volume imbalance as well right here. I'd like to see if it can get below that. Stay below it. About 18 minutes before market opens. See, what do I want to talk about today? Talked about quite a bit. I don't know, this is where live streaming comes in handy and y'all can comment and I could talk about certain stuff. I started talking about the new day opening gap. So I'll continue that, I guess, a little bit. So new day opening gap, very, very powerful. It's the gap, like I said, between the closing price at 4:59 and the opening price at 6 p.m. because stock industry futures for electronic trading hours take a break, 1 hour break, and that starts technically the new day. And I always have the current one on this chart, but on this levels chart that I have multiple. And like I said, I carry them multiple days. And as if you do the same thing like I have on this chart, you'll notice that it uses them multiple times. And like I said, when I'm scrolling through my layouts in the morning, I'm looking for where, the nearest new day opening gaps are. There's another confluence called new week opening gap. And that is the closing price at 4:59 on Friday and opening price at 6 p.m. on Sunday. So that is another PD array that I use, and you can see that is down here, right down here. So where's the week? Right here. So where we opened up, I'll go back to, if I can go back that far, right here. We closed on Friday, as you can see down there by the price, look down here on this axis. Closing price for, I can't, let's see if I can get it on there without zooming in. Nope. There we go. Oh, no, there's 6 o'clock. But anyways, right there. So closing price at 4:59, opening price 6 p.m. That is your new week opening gap. Okay. I also have this low mark because this is the low from yesterday, folks. This is that low that we couldn't trade through because we had this run right here, and we had the 8:30 opening price right here. Where's 8:30 actually? It's right there. 8:30 opening price. Couldn't get down to it right there. Still hasn't gotten down to it. So, and also midnight opening prices I extend throughout the week too, because as you can see, price will use them multiple times also. So we had some manipulation. I like this. You know, you could say, oh, but it didn't create that much of a Judas swing. But I mean, if my bias is bearish and, you know, it's still using, you know, these confluences of from yesterday and they're still respecting them. There we go. And it's still respecting them. I'm going to treat that as weakness. So, and like I said, my overall bias, I would like to see bearishness. So, nothing yet, folks. Nothing yet. We are just chilling. This red line is hourly high, not hourly high, but the high of this hourly fair value gap. Like oh wait, no, that was on this chart, the 15 minute. So that's a 15 minute, but this is the hourly. I want to see if it can get back up into this area right here. Because it hasn't given me the best reaction. Like it hasn't closed completely below this fair value gap yet. On the 5 minute it has, but not on the 15 minute. So I want to wait for it to happen on the 15 minute, in my opinion. And then I would like to see price. Oh, wait, hold on. Is there a volume imbalance right here? What's this candle's close? Close is 25,615, 7.75. Open is 2516.75. Okay, no. So I like this. We have 15 minutes still. So if this thing can close below here, come back up, find some resistance in the midpoint. I want to see that respected. If it can do that, and then show us displacement lower, and I'll see what we can get. I'm going to delete this for now because we know where they are. We know what this all is. It can come back up into these. So if you want me to leave them on, I'll leave them on. They're not that distracting. If it helps you, I'll do it. So I'll leave them. Okay. Let me go get some coffee real quick. Okay, so still hasn't Because look at this wicks. Look at these wicks. Boom, boom. Has it closed below it? Technically, yes, but it's not, uh, obvious. It's just like, it's right there. It's like this. It's like when this closed on the 4 hour, like right here. When it closed up there, are you like, oh gosh, yeah, no, it's reversing now. No. Same thing here. You're like, oh well, it closed below it, so it automatically has to send it lower. No, not necessarily yet. And for me, it's not quite there yet. Could it? Yes. Uh, it'll have to show me some good displacement, but right now I'm just studying around here, around the midpoint of this fair value gap, around the midpoint of this inversion. Uh, I had this marked out because, as we can see, this was a turtle soup, false breakout above a high, drop. I have the first fair value gap right here. Actually, I need to include the volume imbalance. Okay. 8 minutes and change. I'm gonna have, because I had it on this chart. We know where it is. This thing's showing me that it's pretty weak. I want it to stay weak. Could have used it on the 15 minute. I just see that now. This inversion for value gap. Does this one have a volume imbalance? Yeah, it does. So, mm-hmm, mm-hmm, mm-hmm. 7 minutes. Cross them now. Days like this can be either really good or really bad. Because for me, this will be the first point that I talk about. For me, overconfidence was a big thing that I had to control because I learned the technical part of this pretty quickly, in my opinion. I now it's not because I don't think it's because I am any different than anybody else. I don't think I'm any more skilled than any other trader, but I put a lot of time into this. Like I put a ton of time of this, a ton of time into this in the beginning. I still do, obviously, but I mean, whew, damn near obsession wise. Uh, which I don't know. Can you say that's a bad thing? But I uh, I got that down pretty fast. But it was the psychology. It really is. That's more important. And on days like Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursdays, where the price action's a lot cleaner, a lot better. You can see the setups better. Let me put it that way. You got a lot more setups too, in my opinion. But On days like this where, I would be going into it like, yeah, I'm ready. It's going to be good. I'm going to murder this thing. I'm going to crush it. I'm going to get as much money out of it as I can. I'm going to get my leverage up. Retracing higher now. Getting a little pump. See if he can stay below there. Stay below that midpoint. Takes that liquidity on the 1 minute. I'm looking at it on another chart. You can't see it. Takes this liquidity right here above the midpoint. Four minutes left. Anyways, so on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursdays, whenever I would, my conviction would be stronger, I would I would just anticipate everything. I'd be foaming at the mouth. I'd be impatient, and I'd just go in there, and my bias could be correct. Everything could be on point, but my setup wasn't there, and I would force it. And after taking two losing trades that directionally are correct, but setup wise are not. That is frustrating, dog. It's not, I said it's not a bad thing to know where, price is gravitating to, which I mean, it isn't. But once you get to that point, it should be like, not surprising that you know where it's going. Like to me, when I figured out, how to know or not how to know, I can't say that. You never know. But when I figured out how to read price action and get a feel for where it's gravitating towards, once I did that, I I started to take it for granted, I guess, and that's the reason why I would anticipate all of this stuff and it not come to, fruition for me. Simple as that. Like that. I like how it can't even come up to the midpoint of that daily wick again. See if we can't close below here. I want to see that. Or I want to see if we how we behave in this fair value gap right here. Sending us higher initially. And like I said, that's fine. If it needs to take some stops, if it needs to take some liquidity, if it needs to knock some people out of the market, that's what it needs to do. That's the reason why I don't necessarily like to take, day trades. Let me put it this way. If I'm trying to capture the daily range, I am, or a part of the daily range, I'm not in here. Oops, see, it hit the midpoint right there. Back up. So this thing, like I said, I didn't like the fact that we had just barely closed below it. ICT calls this thing a little mohawk. We have these wicks down here, which that's telling me we're reaching, but we can't get down there. So what's it doing now? Retracing high. Now, how high can it go? Well, what do we have? We have the high of this hourly 15-minute fair value gap. We have this inversion fair value gap on the 15-minute. We have this breaker on the 4-hour. Look what happened here. Came all the way up. Did we hit the 4-hour breaker again? No, we did not. We stopped short of it. So that could be a potential target for the market to go up there and take some of that liquidity as well. And guess what? It's also the high of pre-market session. So like I said, we have a lot of factors that we have to assess to be able to speculate. Now, I made it very clear at the beginning that I'm still bearish. There's 930, folks. So I'm going to pause what I was saying real quick. Let's get the opening range gap going. I'm going to switch it to electronic trading hours once I get this up here. I'll do the middle line right now. Right there. Style, extend, right. So right off Jump Street, we are screaming up. So if you're looking at this right now, what are you thinking? Okay. Came back up, took this liquidity above. So this was 1:40 a.m. This was the high of the day. Took out the high of the day right here. Came up into the midpoint of this hourly inversion pair. Actually, no, that's not the midpoint of the hourly inversion pair value gap. That is the midpoint of the weekly order block. So swept that liquidity. Let's see here. I probably should go to regular trading hours. Oh, yep. That makes total sense. I should have had that on there. So we have this opening range gap too. It fell short of it. Can it come up and spike up into it? Yes, it can. But this is the reason why we had that run right there. We have these equal level highs. See if it wants to get up into here or wants to gravitate lower. I'm going to delete that for right now. So here's the high from pre-market. Here's the low from pre-market. Swept the low, swept the high. So where's the range now? Here to here. There we go. So we had a nice run up from Jump Street, but we also left these equal level highs right here. So we're back up into this breaker, which now I'm glad that we kept. So I'm going to delete these for right now. Let's see how we behave inside this breaker right here. Did take this liquidity. Like I said, there's a reason why it took that, and we saw on regular trading hours that we had these equal level highs right here. And we still have equal level highs here. So not particularly interested quite yet. I'd like to see it run these highs and get into here. If it can. If it can't, that's fine. So we barely dipped down into the new week opening. Opening range gap, sorry. And then we screamed up from Jump Street. Took this liquidity that I should have had marked. And then that would have been even more impressive. It's random. No. Anyway, so we're above the midnight opening price. See, yeah. Okay. I don't like how smooth this is. I don't like that. So I'm gonna wait. I need more information. And it comes up and falls short of this. So again, like I said, I need more information. Like that. We might possibly get our first presented fair value gap here. Nope. Never mind. Can't use the 930 candle, folks. Well, there are rules to using the 930 candle, but does that create a fair value gap on the regular trading hour side? No. Which is how I like to gauge first presented fair value gap. It's the first presented fair value gap post 930. So that means it has to be after 930. So 931 and on. Okay. I'd like to see it run those highs right now. Let's see. Let's see if it can get up there. 8:36, 6 minutes into, I mean, not 8:36. Sorry, folks. I'm still, like I said, have to remember I'm talking to, an audience. And so like I said, it's 9:36. Let me put it that way. 9:36 Eastern time. Man, caffeine definitely has to make you go to the bathroom like pee. So I'll be right back, folks. It looks like it's gonna, yep, takes those highs. So I'll be back real quick. Did I miss it? Did I miss a trade? Oh my gosh. Chill. Goose Fraba. What movie's that from? If you know, comment it. Come up, takes that liquidity from the range that we've created, the new range that we created from pre-market because we had the old range from pre-market swept. So if we can get first presented fair value gap, I like that. I would like to see that come up, hits this opening range gap to a T perfectly. Old opening range gap, by the way. Mm-hmm. Yep. I see it if it can gravitate towards here, gravitate towards the new day opening gap, and ultimately down to this low, and this would be a good draw. Stop short of that wick right there. So market structure on the 1 minute is technically still bullish. I haven't had a market structure shift yet. $8.39. I'm not 9.39. Excuse me. So, uh, like I said, I don't really like to look for setups until like maybe 9:50 first macro. Really 10 o'clock. But uh, could get it a little earlier. Could get it a little later. Just depends on what I see in price. So we haven't gotten first presented fair value gap yet, and we haven't really shown a willingness to gravitate lower. So it's come down into this volume imbalance twice now. Hasn't taken out this low yet. It did leave these equal lows, so it's building liquidity as far as when it comes to sell side. Because people that see this, they're like, oh, support, so must buy it. So if you're long, you're thinking, oh, here we go. You're thinking you're safe. And boom. Happens. Might get first presented fair value gap now. I like this. I like that. And then leaving it. And then that displacement right there. Here's fair value gap right there. Okay. So let's go back to midnight opening price real quick. So we're now below it, and we have this fair value gap. Remember what I said about where you want to be entering if you have a bias and you're using these PD arrays for a trade setup. Okay. Back up into that first presented fair value gap, which I like. Send us lower. Boom. That's a great reaction out of there. Let's see here. Coming up. Let me mark this real quick. Where are we? No. Come on. Catch it. Catch it. There we go. Let's see here. I'm going to make it yellow again. An obnoxious color. I want the middle line. Nothing yet, folks. Sorry, I had to do something on my phone. Apologies. So coming back up into the new, I'm sorry, not new day opening gap, the inversion fair value gap on the hourly. Might want to come up and take that liquidity again. Stops right before there. Boom, bust through it again. Yep, driving higher into that inversion fair value gap. Might want to close that in, study that. Yep, gravitating higher now. Showing strength, but I'm not doing anything. This thing could go up, take all-time highs, and I wouldn't be a part of it. Coming up on the 950, excuse me, 950 to 1010 macro. See if we can't close in that fair value gap. So now it's above it. I don't want to talk to you. So, sorry, I had to do something on my phone. So now we're above this 1 hour inversion fair value gap. Do I abandon my bias? No, because what could this be just doing? This could just be a stop run. And now we could see this thing. And like I said, I don't really like taking trades before 950 anyways. Because what's the only thing that we've done so far? We've swept the initial liquidity from 930. We've come down barely. So we did hit the midpoint. No, we stopped short of it. So again, we have stopped short of the midpoint of the opening range gap. So that should tell you something. I really don't see this thing going higher. And if it goes higher, I'm not going to chase it, folks. I'm not. Everything, tells me we're in a premium. First of all, we're in a premium. We did dip down into a discount right here, and that was right at 930. But look at all this liquidity it left. Left these equal level lows right there. Come on now, guys. If you believe, or if you want to chase this thing going up, go for it. I am not going to chase this thing. I'm just going to wait for my setup. There we go. So let's see. If it's going up, how far can it go? Well, we have this volume imbalance on the weekly. Daily, I said I had that wick. Whoa. What the heck? There we go. Daily. Let's stay on this chart, actually. So, what are we doing here? My idea that I wanted to see did not pan out at the beginning. And it didn't technically pan out in the beginning yesterday as well. No, not that wick. This wick. Sorry. So I'm going to delete this. We're going to do this. How many of y'all have taken a trade already? I want to know. Even though this thing is going to go up, what's today? Today is yeah. So how far can it go up? Possibly, maybe midpoint of this week. We're into 75, or the lower quadrant. So I would like to see it, roll over here. I'd like to see it, like I said, keep price at bay and roll over. Does it have to? No. Can it absolutely scream up? It can. But like I said, I'm not willing to give up my original idea just yet. I might, if we have 8 minutes for the 4 hour. If we close, and that's at 10 o'clock. If we close above this high, then, and also if we close above this candle's opening price, I will consider this high right here is the next, because it came up short of it and stopped. So the fact that we're doing this leads me to believe that this, unless, like I said, it's going to have to show me a lot. And like I said, my original idea wasn't 100% correct. I still have a bearish bias. So, because sometimes I catch myself doing it and talking out loud to it. So, we're still bearish. Let me put it this way. I'm still bearish. I am still bearish, folks. Y'all help me with not contradicting myself. How about that? Because everything is telling me this thing is trying to get traders to chase it. So I'm not going to. So we've broken the range from 9:30. From pre-market, from down here to up here. And now we are gravitating above this liquidity. Hold on, I'm going to take this off. Gravitating above this liquidity. Let's see if it can, because if it's bullish, we'd want to see it, if it comes down here, we'd want to see it stay above and continue higher. So opening range is lowest low and highest high from 9:30 to 10 o'clock, first 30 minutes. We haven't gotten that just yet. We're still gravitating towards the high of the day or high of the morning session. So I'm not going to market just yet. We had the first presented fair value gap here. Let me extend this. First presented fair value gap there. It completely disregarded it and came down, touched it again. We also have this fair value gap completely outside. Every single candle that creates the fair value gap is outside the first presented fair value gap. So what does this make this a valid entry? So what does it do? Volume imbalance. Put your stop right there. Or if, like I said, if you're really trading, you're going to be worried that it's going to come down there. So what are you going to do? You're going to put your stop maybe right there or below the first presented fair value gap. Where are you going to aim? Aim for the liquidity right there. Well, it actually already took that liquidity. So in my opinion, that wouldn't be a high probability trade. Look at RJ. He's explaining the bad trades. So, look what happened here. You came above opening range gap, then it created, it came back down into it, stayed in the upper half, used it as support, sent it higher. See, this is what I'm saying, and this is the next point I'll talk about. I was starting to say something yesterday about indicators. And folks, I don't use indicators. I've never used indicators. The indicator that I like to use is called price. Everything that you need to see in the charts is already there. You don't need VWAP. You don't need the depth of market. You don't need RSI. You don't need stochastic. You don't need all this mumbo jumbo that makes you sound smart. It makes you sound smart. And I probably sound really, like I said, an infant, like I don't know what I'm talking about when I use my, the smart money concept language, because it's not as pretty, like order block. that doesn't flow off the tongue like stochastic, or what else? What's another one that's no, SMT is smart money concept. It is a smart money concept term. I do like, I don't use SMT divergence, but I like the sound of it. Anyways, so you don't need any indicators. I mean, everything that you need to be profitable is already in the charts. And as you can see, it keys off on these levels. It's obvious. It's obvious it keys off on these levels. Okay, so let's see here. Let's see if we can stay below this candles. So this 4-hour candle, I want to see how we behave in this wick right here. Why this wick, RJ? Because it's the highest wick within this price run. So let's see if we can't stay below it. Stay below the midpoint, excuse me. Right there. Still might want to go up to that midpoint of that daily wick that I had marked out right here. We also have this inefficiency right here on the daily chart. Coming up on 10 o'clock now. So what have we done so far? Come down, well, up, rally, down, up. Above midnight opening price, above 8:30 opening price. For a long, I would say if you didn't get in somewhere around here, don't chase it right now. Let's see here, 15, let's go to 15 minutes. So we are in a deep, deep premium, folks. And that's the reason why I'm not going to enter into a long right now. Cam comes up, hits the weekly volume imbalance. I like that. Study the reaction from there. Let me see something here. All right. So 10 o'clock, there it is. So if we use this candle right here for the breaker, which makes sense, we also have this inversion fair value gap right here. I'll delete that for right now. Or let's see, this is a fair value gap. I want to see if we can't respect that. Okay. Let me see. So it did close above this candle's open. So it could be a potential bullish order block. Mark that opening price. Make it dots. Yeah, this thing to me is feeling like, yeah, it's going to come up and take this high right here. So I'm going to mark that. And I want to make that green right there. 4 hour, 1 hour. It's respecting the inversion fair value gap that I had marked out on the 4 hour. But here's the opening range. From here up to here. So what can we see it do? Well, we can see it come back down into a discount of the opening range and then see if it wants to gravitate towards this high, which in my opinion, that seems like the more likely scenario. My original idea that I wanted to see didn't pan out, which is completely fine. I'm going to delete this for right now. Let me see about this. Let me see about something. Okay. Actually, no, let's keep this on here for right now. Big inefficiency. Big inefficiency. And like I said, the range from 9:30 to 10 o'clock. Here's equilibrium. I'd like to see it get below this low and gravitate somewhere around here. I like the respect of that 1 hour fair value gap. Inversion fair value gap. But like I said, after it screamed up here and closed above this candle's body, this turned into a bullish order block. So if it's bullish, it should stay in the upper half and see if we can't explore this. Excuse me for a second again, folks. You see, this is the type of stuff that I wish I would have paid more attention to when I was still learning, and that's just watching price and letting it show you rather than you trying to force an idea on the market. You can have an idea, you can have a plan. I'm not saying you shouldn't have a plan, but don't. And I mean, I know I talked about yesterday, don't throw away your plan as well. But just like when you're in a trade and you are kind of hesitant about how valid the setup is, or like you realize, you notice in price action the setup is failing, and you know it comes to a point where some people have a choice to make. They're like, well, I can either take a partial stop out and lose money, or I can hold on to it, hope and pray, hold on for dear life, and pray that it doesn't take me out. Same thing with your idea. You can either hold on to it, which, I mean, this, in my opinion, is more beneficial. It doesn't hurt you monetarily to hold on to an idea as long as you don't act upon it. Like, as long as you don't, like, if I'm bearish right now, I'm not pressing sell, 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 sell right here. I'm not doing that. I'm not spamming it, being like, oh, it's gone up this far, so now it has to go down. Well, no, it doesn't. It could keep screaming up and take this high right now. Uh, and like I said, it from 9:30, no, 30 right here, down, up, rally, small little fair value gap right there, taps into it just barely, doesn't even leaves equal level lows right there. So, in my opinion, this thing ain't done with this portion of price action. We also have these equal level lows right here. We have this inversion fair value gap. We have displacement to the downside. See if we can get below here, and then explore this low and these lows ultimately. Okay, takes those equal level lows. Like I said, to me, unless this thing absolutely falls out of bed, which I mean it can, I this is higher probability. And what did we leave right here? Equal level highs. So let's see if we can't get down here into a discount, because we have this big inefficiency, so it's going to want to draw at least somewhere into that. 15-minute we are creating a fair value gap on the 15-minute. See if this thing can stay open. Yeah, I would look to take a short, like right there. If we can stay below that candle's wick and then drive lower, that's a trade in itself. It can come up into this fair value gap too, but I'd like to see it stay heavy. Here it hits the order block, but on the 15-minute, like I said, we've had this elongated, you know, every time I see one of these candles, I just think of FU candles. BBB, big blue candle. Anyways, since we had this, and it's not screaming up higher, and it's not, you know, automatic, it's not showing weakness after hitting this, this is creating inefficiency. So I would like to see if we can't come down here, like I said, within the opening range, get into some type of discount, see if we can explore above here. And this thing could completely reverse. It could. It really could, folks, because like I said, we still have these equal level lows down here. And here's the low of the day. But to me, they did the damage right here. Boom. And now we're rallying. So if it's bullish, low, high, lower low, 1 hour breaker right here. If it's bullish, what I would like to see is it come down there. See if we can't, and it doesn't have to. It could just come down into equilibrium and then continue higher. Yeah, I like how it's creating that fair value gap right there on the 15-minute. There really isn't a clean setup to go short, so that also, kind of lets me know this thing is not necessarily as bearish as I thought. So we have a volume imbalance right there. Yeah, we do. So this is actually not. No, it is a fair value. It is a fair value gap right there. So coming back up into that fair value gap. Came down into the order block. Came down past the high of the opening range. Here. Where's the opening range high? Right here. Right here. Equal level lows, swept, liquidity taken. Where's your swing high? Swing high right here. See if we can get above that. Needs to get above that. And if we can get above that, I want to see it explore up here, or this first, and then here. If it can't get below, if it can't get above it, then I would like to see it gravitate lower here. But like I said, it doesn't have to do that. Back up into the hourly what was, or what was originally my idea for a inversion fair value gap. But I wanted to see how it behaved in here. So on the 15-minute, we have closed that candle, and we have this fair value gap right here. So if we can roll over, get down into here. Let's see. London lows. Yeah. Yeah. Da, 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 da. Back up into the inversion fair value gap. Yep, driving higher. There's your short-term high taken out right there. See if we can't get above that. Pretty strong, came down into this opening price of the order block. Let me see, let's get the midpoint of this. Just hovering around that midpoint. We can get above that midpoint and then come down and touch it. You could use it as support because it hasn't gotten above it yet. And like I said, it still could roll over, come down into this 15-minute fair value gap, and explore down towards equilibrium of the opening range. Because it hasn't taken out the opening range high yet. It's gotten close to it, but it hasn't taken it out yet. We also have fair value gap right here that it has closed above. Gravitating lower. Yep, this is what I would prefer to see. As far as, you know, a more logical price run, I'm going to put it that way. But, like I said, we're just studying reading price. You see it wick down, reaction up. Just kind of consolidating, right? Going sideways. It's not really doing anything, which is fine because it screamed from down here. we do still have this liquidity down here. Now, here's a paradigm shift that I'm going to suggest, and that is it's NFP week. And those news events are a excuse to move and push price wherever the people that are in control, wherever they want to take it. So that's the I don't know. I don't know. That's like the conspiracy in me. I don't know if it's a conspiracy. I mean, all of this, I guess you could say, is a conspiracy. But anyway, so I have sometimes, seen activity like this happen on NFP weeks where they build in a super, super premium, which I mean, we have, and then they absolutely slam it down on Friday. And that comes down and hits the 4-hour opening price of the order block. See how it's reaching, but not showing a willingness to go down? Remember what I told you at the beginning of the stream on the 15-minute? Right here. Reaching, rally. Nine, no, 10:22. Sorry. Let's see. How long do I want to stay with y'all again? Have we taken a trade yet? No. Are we panicking? No. Do you hear it in my voice? Yes, RJ. No. This is the stuff. This is the type, or no, this is the type of waiting that people hate to do. But it's absolutely necessary to be able to understand, where price is likely to go. So we're rallying again up to that midpoint. See if we can get above it, and then come down, touch it, and then it act as support. Needed to get above it. More. Nope. I need more. I need more than that. That's a little better. No. See, I see how it's not. It's lethargic. It's not showing a willingness to go higher right now, and it's not really showing a willingness to go lower. Unless, there we go. All right, I like that. Nope. See? Don't like that. But what are we doing? We are generating liquidity. Because the people that didn't get this, they didn't get this, they didn't get this, and now they're looking at this with us. Where, if they're long, where are they putting their stops? They're putting their stops there, they're putting their stops there, they're putting their stops here. Okay? So this candle closes above the midpoint. I'd like to see it come down with a wick, maybe, touch it, and then explore upwards toward that daily high. And I'm not going to, like I said, this if you were to look at taking a trade from there to there, I don't feel like that's worth it. So I wouldn't take that trade. I would want to see it come down into a discount and then continue higher. So if it does this, or it comes down, touches it, and then takes out this high, then it's just not a trade that I'll be a part of. Because right now we are too overextended for me to buy it. Because look at that. This doesn't make sense. This doesn't make sense for me to go long right here when we have this huge inefficiency. Wait a second. Oh, wait, no. Well, my eyes have deceived me. Because that is a fair value gap right there. I still don't want to, like I said, we're in a premium. I wouldn't, I would highly advise not taking this trade. I would, I wouldn't take it myself. So I'm not. And if it runs up here and takes that, high, so what? But I was starting to say, how long should I stay with y'all? Today, it was, I don't know, I didn't, my idea didn't pan out. What I wanted to see didn't come to fruition. So, in that sense, I'm not giving up on the day. But like I said, it has to show me, you know, a lot of information. So we swept the opening range high right there. And the opening range is the first 30 minutes. Came down, failed to get to the midpoint, rallied, consolidation. All of this is left open. We have range right here, broken to the upside. Now it's below it again. If we can get below this low right here, I'd like to see it explore here, here, and possibly down here. But this is a bull flag. You see how it's like a flag, in the wind, waving in the wind? A lot of retail sees that as bullish behavior. And sometimes it works. Now, do they capture, the lion's portion of the move? No. They get the little cookie crumb if it does work out. And that's what I was saying. Like, here's the cookie crumb. Right there to right there. You get the last bite of it. And in my opinion, the last quarter of a move, there are a lot more stop runs than there are at the beginning, obviously, because look at this. Are there any stop runs in here? No. Are there stop runs up here? Yes. Stop run there. Stop run there. Haven't seen these stop runs. Or haven't seen a run on stops here. Comes down into the 4-hour bullish order block, though. Comes up to the high of this inversion fair value gap, or what was originally a bullish fair value gap. I wanted to see it act as inversion. It's come back up into it. It's completely traded up into it. And now it's above the midpoint of it. See if we can stay above it. If it can't stay above it, then I think we'll explore lower. But if it stays above it, gets above it again, then more than likely we'll see it gravitate higher towards that daily high. I said it left these equal level highs right there. So that's the reason why we had that stop run to up here. She said, what you mean? So I was starting to say how long I should stay on here for. And I think what, 10:45-ish lead? Yeah, I like that. 10:45-ish. Down to the low of the inversion fair value gap. I'm just going to call it fair value gap because it's not, it's sort of doing its job, like acting as inversion, but not really. It's not as strong of a confluence as I wanted it to be. Let me put it that way. Let's see if it can't get below this low. If we can get below this low, trade back up into some type of inefficiency. We'll see if we can't get a run down here. Because what, in a perfect world, this is what I would like to see. I'd like to see it gravitate down here into a discount, pick up more orders, and then explore this high. But that's in a perfect world. That's what, like I said, we never demand that to happen. We just have an idea. And that's my idea right now. Inside this weekly volume imbalance, here's the midpoint of that weekly order block. Can't get down to the midpoint of this weekly volume imbalance, so that is also letting me know a little bit that we're strong, not weak. She said to me, could come all the way down to the midnight opening price. Let me see that on the higher time frame. Yeah. Let me look at something here. 4-hour. Oh, okay. No. Let's see if we can't do this. Let me do this. Let me do this. I'm gonna delete the opening range quadrants. I'll put equilibrium back on, but for now I want to see if we can't, if we do get down here, let's see if we can't stay above the midpoint of this wick. And really, I want to see if we can't just stay in the upper quadrant. We can stay in the upper quadrant. Excuse me again, I gotta run to the bathroom. See, we had it roll over now. So let's see if it can get below this low. If it creates this inefficiency, then we could possibly see it gravitate toward this level, and then ultimately down here. That's what I would like to see. Nope, can't get below that low. So nothing still. Comes down, hits the order block. 4 hour. Back and forth again, folks. What did it leave? Equal level lows. Yeah, equal level lows. Chop, 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 chop. Hopefully you're not in this. Hopefully you were smart enough to stay out. Because if you are long and your stop is right there, man, when that was happening, I would be not very confident. See, if it can come up here, hit that midpoint, and stay below it, or if it doesn't even go below it, if it doesn't even hit it, then that would also tell me something. Okay. Comes up into this inversion inefficiency right here. From this candle's high, this candle's low to this candle's close, because this is a volume imbalance. See if it can't come up and tap that inversion fair value gap. Doesn't have to. We have this volume imbalance right there. Stop short of it. See if we can't get below this low right here. Yes. Leave me alone. Okay. Still need to get it below. Still need it to get below those lows. She say what you know I do. I got what you need. Hovering around that order block that I have marked out, the opening price of that order block. Okay. Now it's below that low. I'll see it drive lower. Drive, take that low out. No, not like that. See how it's respecting the bullish PD arrays better than it's respecting the bearish PD arrays. Okay. Yep. I like what I see. Stabbing back down into the 15-minute fair value gap. It stopped right at the high of that hourly fair value gap. Inversion fair value gap. Ten minutes a little bit cleaner. Okay. Like that. Good displacement down. Like I said, opening range from this low. Yeah, this low to this high. I will put equilibrium. I just put the midpoint. Sorry. The charger is being difficult with me. I know this probably pisses y'all off. Here's equilibrium. Coming up on the 1050 to 1110 macro. See if we can explore down towards those equal level lows that I have right here. Watch this wick right here. See if we can stay below the midpoint. Nope. Doesn't look like it. Could want to come back up into this breaker right here. One minute until the macro. I said I was going to get off at 10:45, but we got some interesting stuff going on right now, folks. There's your 950 macro. I mean 1050 macro, sorry. Boom. Coming up into that breaker, like I said. Send us lower. Like that. I want to see if we can't gravitate towards that. Those equal level lows down there, folks. That's what I would like to see. It's coming down into that quadrant though, so I'm not completely liking that. Starting to roll over now. Okay. Nothing yet. Nothing yet. Okay, if this thing gets below that quadrant level right there. Yep. And then it creates a fair value gap. Just like that. I'll short it. And then I'll see if it can explore these lows. And then ultimately down here. Yep. Looked like it might run without me. Which is fine. Haven't missed it yet though, folks. So don't panic. No panicking. Dude, come on. Oh no. That wasn't good. Spilled my coffee. Okay. Still haven't gotten to equilibrium yet. Okay. So I'd like to see it come up into this fair value gap right here. See if it can't get up in there. Okay. And let's sweep these lows. Not yet. Not yet. There it is. Right there. Okay. So there's here's 950 right here. 1050, sorry. Boom. Comes up, it's that order block. Use it as an inversion level since it's below it now. Creates displacement and explores these lows. Like I was saying, I had a limit order right here. I was going to trade it, but I was going to aim exactly for what it did. But it didn't give it to me. It's okay. But now we're inside this breaker on the 1 hour, which is what I ultimately was, liking it, drawing towards. So now, let me see how. I like to see if it can't get back up in here, come back up into a premium, and then roll over again, and see if it can explore this low. She said, "What you know about love? I got what you know." Where's equilibrium? Equilibrium is right there. Okay. Think of falling in love. She said, "What you know." I still like this down here. Okay, I want to see if it can't get up here. 25,704. We'll see if we can get actually a little bit higher than that. I want to see it come up here, 708. See if we can't get it to roll over. See, weekly. Yep. That's the daily, sorry. Yeah, now it's really starting to accelerate now. Like this up here, fair value gap. Let's see if we can get up there. Ten though, not 10:10, 11:10. I'm gonna close the video because then it'll be too late. I want to see if we can stab up here and then roll over again. But it's already done enough. I initially wanted it to, do this, but it didn't, which is fine. Like I said, some days you're just not gonna get it. It's not gonna give it to you. And you can either chase it and be, like I said, emotional, or just take it for what it is. You were, right, and you just weren't a part of it. The good news is that it's more than likely still probably going to come back up here. Yeah. Now, is it going to be an opportunity for me to go long and target it, or is it going to be an opportunity for me to go short? That's the question. This was a nice setup as well. I wasn't willing to take that though. I wanted to see this during the macro, but I wanted it to get up in there. But it never did. Now, we have this fair value gap on the 5-minute right there. We have this breaker on the hourly. Let's see if we can't stay above that. Gravitate back up towards that. Ultimately this. About 4 minutes. So jeez, that scared me. It was right in my ear. Yep. Looks like we are done. Yeah. This is gonna do it for me, folks. Yep, that really does it for me. Alrighty. So nothing today. And could have had something potentially there, but didn't. No worries. I can see it gravitating towards this low. Uh, might take that out sometime in the afternoon or early uh, lunch hour. I don't know. But yeah, today I wasn't on point with it, and y'all saw it live, and that's okay. Did I take a trade? No, I told you I was about to, but I didn't. Uh, so it is what it is, and tomorrow's another day. Tomorrow's another opportunity. I got stuff to do today, so I don't think I'm gonna take a trade in the afternoon or look to take a trade in the afternoon. So with that, be safe, and we'll catch y'all in the next one.